Good afternoon and welcome to Ljubljana in Slovenia for round 3 of the ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup. Well, it's finals time now here in Ljubljana in perfect racing conditions. We are focused on the final. You saw the World Cup standings. Matej Benus of Slovakia, who was leading the standings, not in this final. Benjamin Sapsek was fastest for Slovenia in the semi-final. He goes off last, and great to see Michal Martikan of Slovakia racing. And next up for Italy, it is Roberto Collison, who's got a good reputation at under-23 World Championship level. And this is opportunity to make his name at the senior level. And he's up early on the split time. But this, we know from the semi-finals, is where the time really changes hands.
Wow, and look at that. Ducking the head back into gate 10 saved him a lot of time. He had a really great cross there.
Oh, and he's tight on 18. Wow.
Very nice upstream in 18.
Brilliant work. So Roberto Collison of Italy is taking the fight to those still to come. 2 more gates now to come on this 22-gate course. 88.84 is the time he's going to beat. He's going to be inside of that. It's just about how much. And in 87.48, great stuff. He knows he's done a good job there, and he's put himself right in the mix. 87.48.
He did lose a little bit of time in the very bottom, and that could have just been fatigue, but then again, he smashed the upstream 18 in the hole under the bridge. Just a very well put together run.
Gold goes to Italy. Roberto Collison ahead of Andrzej Bercic of Slovenia. Alexander Slavkovski of Slovakia takes the bronze.
The first part was not so good. It was just a little bit under control, and then when I was in the flow, and I said, okay, just go ahead and go fast. And the water was with me today, and that's Tatsen, that's our sport, and that's luck sometimes.
So there we have it, the standings after 3 races in this men's canoe competition. Luka Bozic of Slovenia takes the lead ahead of Matej Benus, who didn't make it through into the final today.
My name's Mike Druce. I've been involved in coaching canoe slalom for over 30 years now, and part of that role is designing courses, both in training for national competitions and also internationally for the ICF. The main thing you're looking for as a starting point is fairness, but also really to challenge the skills of the athlete. We always try and have what I call an accessible course, so the fastest athletes can do it in a really difficult way, but the other athletes still can access that move by doing it as a spin or going around, or this alternative, so everybody can do the move, but only the very best athletes can get it in the most direct possible way. So within the rules, you have to have between either 6 or 8 upstreams. So the idea is it's an even number, so you can have a balance of left and right-handed upstreams, and either 6 or 8. There's a guideline in the rules around balance and fairness, so it should be balanced for left and right-handed paddlers. But there's certainly a trend in paddling now that a lot of the C1 paddlers are very proficient at switching, so they actually will now take the advantage and say, okay, well, this is a left dominant move. I'll paddle on my left here, and this is faster on the right. I'll paddle on my right here. We also have to take into account the judges when we're designing a course. There's a lot of the fine positioning of the gates, which is considering the judges, so trying to put the gates in the trough of a wave rather than on the peak of the wave, so the pole heights can be more favourable, because if the poles have to be very high because the water's splashing around, then it's very hard for the judges to sort of pick where the heads are around the gate. So we can really help in that process. There's 2 designers, so it's always a discussion and really playing ideas off each other, and I think that enhances the quality of the course. My personal approach is discuss the the values that you want to have around the course, and a lot of the time, for me, that's about really utilising a lot of what the whitewater suggests already. So there's always some great moves that are suggested by each course, each venue, and that would be different every time. We really have to look at the rapid and decide what the most stable features are, because the rapids will surge and pulse, and a lot of the features will change shape a little bit and morph in and out as the river flows. And so we're really looking for the most stable features that we would use. But again, that's part of slalom, is that adaptability, and the best athletes will be able to adapt when the water changes a little bit. They'll be able to see what's possible with the change, and they'll still use it and do all of that in a moment and change their plan. And then you're trying to be creative and look at them and say, how could we use that? What kind of interesting challenges could we set on that shape of a wave or that shape of a stopper? It's quite a creative exercise, and that's why I really enjoy doing it. Yeah.
But let's turn our attention to the women's K1 final. And here are the standings. Well, Ricarda Funk is not here, so she is the leader after the first two races. Jessica Fox is a surprise omission from the final, doesn't make it through, which was a big shock in those semi-finals. So here is the start list. 10 boats, and they go in reverse order. So Stephanie Horn of Italy will be going off last as the fastest from the semi-finals. And, well, will she be boosted by the success just now of Roberto Collison Gardi? Stephanie Horn of Italy goes for gold here in Slovenia.
Yeah, she's on top of the stopper. She's making sure that her nose is down for gate 4, and then she'll carve back out onto the stopper for gate 5, 6, 7.
Wow, that was supreme. She was really experienced there. She knew she had to come off. She watched the bows of the boat on the pole, and she has definitely delivered this top section so far.
Yeah, I think she lost a bit of time in the stopper there, but she actually managed it really, really well, and she's just going to make sure that she can hold on. She's only a second down. Eva was more down than that on her run, so if Steffi can keep accelerating through this next section, really nice into gate 10. This is shaping up to be a really fast run. She's really accelerating through this section, really nice to see. She can smash this upstream. A little heavy in the stopper, but really nailing that stopper move.
Well, Stephanie Horn is the only person that can spoil the Slovenian party here in Tartan, because it looks like it might be slipping away. We'll have to wait and see as she comes towards the finish line. No, maybe not. She's found some time, and she is going to take gold for Italy. Stephanie Horn does a double gold for Italy here in Slovenia. Well, what a final here in Tartan in Slovenia. And it is Stephanie Horn of Italy who takes gold. Well, there we have it. That's the result. Stephanie Horn of Italy confirmed with gold for Italy. Again, the second gold of today. Eva Tercel of Slovenia, Victoria Urs. And then we've got the likes of Karina Kundler of Austria, the winner from last weekend. She comes fourth.
In London and Po, I was thinking that I'm able to win, and maybe I wanted too much to win, and that's why I missed gates. And this time I was concentrated on having fun, and it was working. So
we should hopefully get an indication of the overall World Cup standings after 3 races. And as I was just thinking, Karina Kundler, the winner from last weekend and fourth today, takes the early lead. But Eva Tercel and Karina are well ahead of the others. Veronika Vojtova, Ricarda Funk, Jessica Fox, who was the surprise person, didn't come through to the final.
Hey, my name is Evie Liebbarth, and I am a slalom paddler from the United States. And this is my dad and coach, Lee Liebbarth. My goal is to make a World Cup final, and last weekend I made 2, so that was pretty cool. definitely I want to try and repeat that this weekend.
You know, I've paddled with Evie a lot and know that, you know, when she has a good run, she can be incredibly fast, even amongst the women. So it was fun to see her put that together when it counted, you know, in the big races in the semifinals. So yes, I mean, in a way it was a little bit of a surprise, but I knew that it was something she was capable of. She was on cloud 9 after making her first final, and then by the time she made her second final, you know, she was through the roof. So as a coach and as a father, that was really fun to see.
It was a really exciting experience. When I used to dream of my first World Cup, I guess I imagined it almost how it was. Just a lot of people there, just so many countries. I guess it was not as much stress as I thought it was going to be. It was a lot more fun.
You know, I think at this point we'd really try to make the training as much fun as possible, and you know, we go and we play on the water sometimes. You know, we try not to make the sessions too serious, and I think it's that mix of, you know, fun and, you know, taking, you know, learning that kind of keeps it from getting too intense.
Yeah, before most races, my dad will come up to me, and instead of saying like you have to do well, or like I'm expecting you to have a good run, he'll just be like, have fun out there, like just have fun.
Yeah. There's a lot of time traveling. You know, obviously there's some expense involved, quite a bit of expense involved, and you know, for us, we travel as a family, and so it kind of allows us a family vacation at the same time we're supporting Evie's competitive dreams.
I used to go to school in my hometown, Bryson City, so I've gotten a bunch of messages from my old schoolmates saying like, whoa, it's so cool that you're at a World Cup and all that kind of thing. So it's really cool to be able to share like over social media my experiences.
You know, we're certainly excited that she's gotten into kayaking because, you know, I've been a coach and an athlete, and, you know, her mom has been involved in the sport as well. So we're excited that she's made this a goal of hers, and, you know, if she makes it to the Olympics, that would be fantastic. If not, you know, there's other races out there, there's other Olympics. She's very young, so, you know, either way, we're very proud of how she's paddling and the experience that she's gaining from this.
There, Claire Jacquet of France leading the World Cup standings after the first 2 races. But Claire not racing here, neither is Andre Herzog of Germany in second. So Jessica Fox, who qualified through into this final, likely to take that race lead in the overall standing. But here is the start list for the women's canoe singles final. Well, here is the experienced 4-time world champion, World Cup winner last year, Jessica Fox of Australia.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard when you won everything to keep being hungry, you know. And but what she's doing is already pretty huge, and it's still a bronze medal last week.
And look at that, 2.5 seconds down. So she is down on race leader Wolfhard of Austria.
Wow, and it's gliding so much, and with her strength, I'm sure she can improve on the last part.
Well, let's watch, because yeah, she might still find a little bit of time. Will it be enough to challenge for the race lead? I'm starting to think that it may not be, but it's going to be tight as she comes to the finish line. It is going to be the race lead, surely. Jessica Fox of Australia does find that time, 103.06, and that includes 4 seconds of penalties.
That's solid, yeah.
Here are the results from the women's canoe final. Jessica Fox, Victoria Wolfhard, Evie Liebhardt. Brazil's Ana Satilas has to settle for 5th place after qualifying first in the semi-finals.
Yeah, it's I guess victory's always sweeter once you've known defeat, and yesterday definitely felt a bit defeated and deflated, and so I really wanted to come back here today and do a good run that I was proud of. So yeah, super happy to take the win today.
That puts Jessica Fox ahead in the standings of the overall ICF Canoe Slalom World Cup.
I'm not a very strong girl. Probably I would lose every pull-up competition, but yeah, I think the most important for me is the shoulders, and especially in C1 where I get in some very uncomfortable positions sometimes, especially in the crossbow. I'm not very used to it, and I really try this year to work more on the stability of my shoulders to make it easier on the water and have more power on the stroke. There is a lot of strength and power coming on the shoulder, especially when you use stoppers or you have like big water like here at Bratislava, where you really come to some situations where you really need to fix and hold yourself. And I think the shoulder connects with the core and the legs as well. So I think yeah, you have to try to find the way to connect everything and to have a good balance of everything. I had it myself. It's very small injuries are very hard to prevent, I think, and especially when I was younger, I all the time had some problems because I wasn't proper warming up or cooling down in gym. I just tried to make the most weights possible and never focused really on the small things. And yeah, and now I changed this a little bit, and I think that's better for the water. So I think it's good to strengthen everything around, so all the small muscles. I try to work more with the elastic band this year, do a lot of mobilization as well, and really try to focus on smaller muscles. Yeah, I think that worked quite well for me.
It's the men's K1 final, and we've got an exciting final coming up. Jiri Priskovic leading the World Cup standings after 2 runs. Mikael Pasiut and Hannes Eigner, the top 3. Here is the start list, and what a start list we've got. So next to start is our single Italian representative in this 10-boat final. And it is Giovanni De Gennaro of Italy. He has absolutely delivered on the top section.
Totally, and the speed is huge.
So fighting a little bit from 10 to 11.
Yep.
And this is where he needs to keep his composure, keep the concentration into 14. Don't forget, there's still paddlers to come. But Giovanni De Gennaro of Italy is setting the world alight here. He is really putting the marker down.
Keeping the boat flat on the last upstream, and it's pushing so hard, it's great.
Well, into the race lead, and 83.10.
Huge performance from him. So hard to deliver such a run in a final.
So there are the results. Giovanni De Gennaro of Italy takes the gold medal, 3rd gold for Italy out of 4 events. Peter Kauser of Slovenia is the popular silver medalist.
That is really good to win here because my family is here, my friends is here, my girlfriend is here as well. So it's really nice to join, to share with them this moment. And it's also the last time we will race on this course, on this configuration, so it's kind of good memory.
Well, what a competition there, and Jiri Priskovic takes this race lead in terms of the overall World Cup standings. Ahead of Peter Kauser, a bit of a gap emerging there, into 3rd place Andre Malek.
Hey, my name's Ali.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. So I've got a few questions for you.
Sure.
So I'm assuming you're always trying to learn new skills.
Yeah.
And so you're learning a new skill in training, and it's so the boat's here and the angle's here, the edge, every little detail.
Yeah.
So how do you go from learning the skill consciously to then putting it into a race where you don't have to think about it?
The first thing you need to do is you need to learn the basics really well. Like, you know, no ducking, nothing, do like a normal pivot and stuff like that. And then practice makes the master, you know. I try not to think how to do it, with which stroke, with which angle. I just try to go with the flow and just try to look at the water, what it does, how the boat reacts to the water, to the wave, to the stopper, and then I try to react. I do this a couple of times, and when I get like that good feeling about it, then I don't think of it anymore.
Okay.
I just do it like automatically on the race.
Yeah. So I've listened to your podcast with Julien.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was good. It was interesting. It was useful. And in it you talk about not comparing yourself with others. Maybe you have a good run and someone else goes quicker and that's fine, or maybe you win but you still feel like your run isn't as good.
I'm like a perfectionist, you know. I always search for there's no perfect run, but I always try to get as close as possible to a perfect run, the one I have in mind.
Yeah.
But if I do the run I know I can do, I'm able to do it, and if I perform that, then if somebody's better because, I don't know, putting it all out, taking risks, and it paid off for them, or just like have a bit of luck with the water, then, you know, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
I always said, like, if you do well, then try to get that feeling back for the other races, or just try to improve even that feeling. If you do worse, you know, you try to think what went wrong, how did you feel, and try to change that on the trainings. But once the race is over, it's over. You have to think about the next race and get ready for the next race. You know? Yeah.
You're always chewing something on the start line. I want to know what it is.
Chewing gum. I said, like, I'm copying Michael Jordan about it. And he was one of the greatest. I'm not, but still, you know, it's like I just focus on chewing, and then I forgot. I don't think about the race and nothing, because then for me it's like when I think too much which stroke to do, if I plan too much how to do a race, then it always goes sideways. So I rather not think. Once I'm off through the start line, I just like totally clear my head. It's like a blank space, you know, and I just try to do, like, adapt to the situation that it's in front of me and try to manage it as much as possible.
Thank you. It's good to meet you.
Good luck for the future.
And you.
Hope I helped you something, you know,
definitely.
with some advice, and that's it.
Thank you.
Okay.
So here is our women's kayak final. Not a lot to choose between them, but it looks like Martina Wegman may have got the launch over everyone else. But here we see Martina Wegman persisting on that start, and well, that was what gave her the edge. And Caroline Trompeter, wearing bib number 1, she was the one that really lost out on the start. But there's no doubt about the winner there, Martina Wegman of the Netherlands. It was a great start. She took the advantage and she took the gold.
Yeah, I think I was pretty lucky to have a good start and get out of the carnage which happened behind me. So yeah, lucky to not be involved in that.
We have the 4 finalists: Pedro Goncalves of Brazil, Stefan Hengst of Germany, Christian De Dionigi of Italy, and Ben Hayward of Canada. Here's the race. And, well, if you look at Ben Hayward in the red boat, then he's squeezed out at the start. It was Goncalves of Brazil that had it his way. Hengst got caught out, missed gate 1. But at this stage, Ben Hayward was still in the bronze medal position. This is where the race was won. Ben Hayward in and out, and I'm not sure Pepe could actually believe what had just happened.
Even tighter.
Here it is. Round he goes. And there followed a little bit of a tussle on the exit. That's what Extreme Canoe Slalom's all about. He has stolen it on the move. Respect to Ben Hayward of Canada. He takes the gold, and he's earned that.
Good strategy.
He snatches it from under the nose of Pedro Goncalves of Brazil, who had really quite a big lead going into gate 5.
Well, off the start,
there's a massive advantage to the person starting most left, and I was starting most right, so I just figured I'd look for any opportunity I could to try and overtake people, because I'd definitely be in the trying to make up ground from behind. So yeah, it ended up working out. There were a couple good opportunities where I could sneak it, and yeah. Also, massive thanks to a teammate, Martin Sinofsky, who lent me his boat. So yeah, huge props to him, because it's a great boat and went really fast. Yeah.
We'll be taking a break for a few weeks, but we'll be back with World Cup 4 in Markkleeberg in Germany, the last weekend in August. In fact, I think it's the 30th of August and the 1st of September. We'll be live on Planet Canoe with World Cup 4. Of course, then World Cup 5 the following weekend in Prague, and the World Championships at the end of September. We'll see you then.